He was standing at the edge of a river, ready to die. Not because his life had been ruined, because it had been perfect, and none of it had mattered. He had been a prince, a saint, a lover, a gambler, a merchant, a father. He had sat at the feet of the wisest man alive and walked away empty every single time. And now the river moved beneath him, dark and patient, and he thought, there's nothing left to try. He closed his eyes, and then, from somewhere beneath thought, from a place that had survived every version of himself, a sound rose. Not a prayer, not a word, something that meant only, I am still here. He did not jump. His name was Siddhartha, and he was born into everything a man could want. His father was a Brahmin, devout, respected, certain. The rituals were observed. The prayers were said correctly. The path stretched clearly ahead. But Siddhartha could not sleep. He would lie in the dark and feel it, a hollow ache at the center of his chest. Not pain, something worse. The particular kind of suffering that has no name because it requires no wound. He had memorized every scripture. He could recite every answer. And still, beneath the answers, silence. Not the peaceful kind. So he left. Not in anger, not in desperation. With the quiet certainty of someone who finally understands that a man can know everything about thirst and still die in the desert. 4 years he punished his body. He joined wandering ascetics, men who believed that if you stripped away enough, what remained would finally be pure. He fasted until his ribs pressed through his skin. He sat motionless while the sun moved across the sky and insects made a home of his stillness. He became very good at disappearing, and one morning, watching the other men perform their suffering with quiet pride, he understood. This is not transformation. This is a more elegant escape. He had simply traded one performance for another. Then he heard about the Buddha, Gautama, the awakened one, a man who had actually arrived somewhere real. He walked to him. He listened. He felt the truth moving underneath the words, the extraordinary stillness of someone who had found what Siddhartha was looking for. And then he walked away. His companion was stunned. You heard him yourself. Why won't you follow him? Siddhartha said, he found his truth by living it. That truth belongs to him. Mine is still waiting, and it will not be handed to me. The hardest thing Siddhartha ever did was refuse the one man who might have saved him. So he went into the world. He became a merchant. He learned how money moved, how desire could be shaped and sold. He was good at this too. He had always been good at whatever he turned his attention toward. That was never the problem. He ate well. He slept beside beautiful people. He threw coins onto gambling tables, not because he needed to win, but because the half second before the result, that pure, suspended uncertainty, was the closest thing he had found to feeling alive. Years passed, then more years, and somewhere in the middle of all of it, without a single dramatic moment, without a crisis he could point to, he went numb, not sad, not broken, just quietly, efficiently numb, the way a man stops noticing the cold after he has been standing in it long enough. He laughed at dinner tables, he closed deals, he moved through his days with the smooth competence of someone who has mistaken function for health. And one night, he sat in a room full of laughter and realized he could not hear any of it. Not because the room was quiet, because he was. The wrong kind of quiet. The kind that doesn't come from peace, but from exhaustion. From having tried every door and found them all opening into the same room. He stood up, walked out, found the river in the dark. I have been everything. I have tried everything. He did not find meaning that night. He fell asleep on the bank and woke to an old ferryman who asked no questions. The man's name was Vasudeva. He had been carrying people across this water for decades. The desperate, the lost, the ones running towards something and the ones running away. He listened to every single one of them. Not to respond, not to fix, not to offer the words that would make the pain smaller. He listened the way the river listens, receiving everything, holding nothing, letting it all pass through. Siddhartha stayed. For weeks he watched and said little. Something in him resisted, the old instinct to master, to extract meaning, to turn experience into progress. But Vasudeva simply rode, and the water simply moved, and slowly that resistance had nothing left to grip. He began to listen to his regrets without trying to resolve them, to his failures without converting them into lessons, to the hollow ache he had carried since childhood, and for the first time, instead of feeling it or fleeing it, he simply let it be there. Months passed, then seasons, and he noticed something, not as a thought, but as a feeling in his chest, that the river he watched each morning was never the same river, always moving, always changing, and yet always completely itself. He had been searching for a self that was finished. The river had never needed to be. You know the voice, the one that surfaces at 2 in the morning, or in the middle of a perfectly ordinary Tuesday, underneath the plans, the progress, the life that looks like it's moving somewhere. Is this it? Is this all there is? Most of us do one of two things with that voice. We drown it out. More work, more noise, more speed, or we collapse into it. Convinced it means something in us is fundamentally broken. Siddhartha tried both. For 40 years, what the river taught him was a third way. Don't silence the voice. Don't be destroyed by it. Listen to it the way Vasudeva listened to the river, without needing it to stop, without needing it to mean something immediately, just long enough to hear what it's actually saying underneath the fear. Because that voice is not your enemy. It is the most honest thing about you. It is the part that refused to be satisfied with a life that only looked right from the outside. The part that kept pulling you towards something realer, even when you had no name for what that was. You don't need to arrive anywhere today. You only need to stop running from the water. It has been trying to tell you something for a long time. Stand at its edge. Listen.
Siddhartha sits by the river stone, bare feet cool on the bank alone. The water folds around his name and carries on the same. A fig leaf drifts in the green slow run. A heron lifts when the day grows sun. He watches the mud, the root, the reed, and nothing in him tries to leave. He lets the current